八字算命术，雅称八字命理，是基于生辰八字推算的一门占卜术。向大家推荐一位研究八字命理20余年的道长，擅长八字算命、居家风水布局、灵符法事。道长微信：20882988。
Where the good times never die.
Although Bobby refuses to believe the nightclub is haunted, he confides in his friend about the strange occurrences.
So how's everything going?
Pretty good. I'm having a problem with one of my employees, though.
Who?
Kid named Carl.
Once Bobby had told me the story, I asked him why he kept it quiet. And he said that a lot of people are afraid of ghosts, and he didn't want the word out. He firmly said he didn't believe in it, but his wife and Carl Lawson believed the place was haunted.
As a writer, Doug is intrigued by the incredible story.
Do you mind if I talk to him, though?
I guess you want to talk to him, you can talk to him, but...
I'd love to. I just want you to tell me what you experienced, best as you can say.
This place is evil.
I've seen stuff I can't explain.
I found a loose floorboard. Inside that
Carl
floorboard,
tells Doug about Johanna's diary. And the two men he saw in the basement.
Carl told me that this place was filled with evil, and the only reason he stayed here was to protect Janet and Bobby. Had it not been for that, he would have left here a long time ago. But he also told me that
they don't want us here.
Something always pulled him back here.
Hensley is a natural skeptic, but he takes their stories at face value.
I was 5.5 months pregnant, and I felt this hand in the middle of my back, but I was alone.
I found Janet to be more believable than Carl in the beginning because her demeanor was total and complete trepidation. She was afraid to even talk about it. You would have to know Janet Mackey to know that she would not make up something like this.
Though he remains skeptical, the stories pique his interest. He goes to the local library to research the history of the club.
I really thought Carl Lawson was schizophrenic until I started doing hours and hours of research, learning the history of this place.
Hensley finds an explanation for Carl's story in a 19th century article from the Kentucky Post.
I learned of two men that were hung in Newport, Kentucky in 1897. Their names were Alonzo Walling and Scott Jackson.
Alonzo Walling and Scott Jackson, two Cincinnati dental students, were convicted and sentenced to die by hanging for the murder of a young socialite named Pearl Bryan. Her headless body was found near the site of an old slaughterhouse in Wilder, Kentucky. She was 5.5 months pregnant at the time of her murder.
Alonzo Walling swore a curse on the gallows and said that he would come back from hell and haunt everyone involved in his trial and haunt the place where Pearl Bryan's head was.
Hensley tells Carl and Janet what he has found. He explains that after Pearl Bryan's body was discovered, bloodhounds led investigators to the slaughterhouse. Locals suspected that the killers had disposed of Pearl's head in the old well in the basement of the slaughterhouse as part of a satanic ritual. But the head was never found. Doug explains that the nightclub rests on the foundation of the old slaughterhouse.
Satan worshippers came to this spot at night and gave blood sacrifices down inside that well to worship the devil because of all the blood spilled on this ground. There was a culvert pipe that all the blood of the animals was rinsed into the Licking River. It is my opinion that Alonzo Walling and Scott Jackson both dwell at this nightclub because this is where they disposed of Pearl's head.
One striking similarity among Johanna, Pearl Bryan, and Janet Mackey is hard to ignore.
Janet Mackey told me she was 5.5 months pregnant when she was thrown down a flight of stairs.
Bobby, you gotta do something about this.
Pearl Bryan was 5.5 months
I know somebody that
pregnant.
can help us.
Johanna, the dance hall girl who poisoned herself inside this nightclub, was pregnant. Right around 5.5 months.
Doug Hensley knows that there are angry spirits inside Bobby Mackey's nightclub. Hoping to bring peace to the building, he invites a psychic named Patricia Michelle. Michelle is a nationally known medium and psychic counselor. She claims that since she was a child, she has been able to communicate with the dead.
Patricia, this is Carl.
When I arrived at the club, I met Carl, the caretaker.
They're here.
He started to talk, and I said, "Do me a favor, Carl." I said, "Don't talk to me about any spirits." I said, "Let me walk through the club. Let me experience what I experienced." I have what they call inner vision, or second sight.
Patricia senses the presence of a spirit.
What's your name?
And she said, "My name is Johanna." I said, "What happened to you?"
Why are you here?
She said, "I know I'm dead." I said, "Why don't you let me send you to the light?" And she said, "No, lady." She said, "Don't send me to no light."
Patricia realizes that Johanna's spirit has chosen to remain earthbound.
I think that what is in Bobby Mackey's nightclub are ghosts that believe there is no place for them to go. And so they would prefer to live in this nightclub than to go on to a place where they may burn for eternity. That's what they think. I don't see the room as it is. I see the room like it used to be.
Patricia sees a vision of a decapitated head.
I got this overwhelming feeling of nausea. I felt like I was spinning. I couldn't wait to get out of there.
Are you okay? Are you sure? Doug's bringing you a glass of water, okay?
Here you go. Here you go.
Thank you.
The psychic senses the presence of two evil spirits.
Carl, the two men in the room. I think they're trying to
I said,
use your
"Carl,
body."
these two men in this room," I said, "I believe that they're trying to use your body."
I think it makes them feel comfortable.
They were enjoying their senses, touch, smell, taste.
It makes them feel
For me, I was controlled.
Carl, they've gone now. Carl, it's okay. They've gone
The
now.
psychic tells Carl he cannot fight these spirits alone.
I think you're going to need to get a minister to help you.
I
with this
definitely
one.
felt that Carl was possessed. And I told him then, I said, "You really need to get a minister or someone to help you."
Doug Hensley brings a Pentecostal minister to meet with Carl.
And he told me that this was the most evil site that he'd ever stepped foot on in his life, that it was full of evil.
Why don't you guys wait here?
He said, "I've been doing this for years, and I'm telling you, Carl Lawson is demonically possessed."
pray for us.
He asked me to stand outside the room, and he and Carl went into the old kitchen and sat at a table, and the minister started performing an exorcism.
You're a living gateway for violent spirits. It's not a natural type of thing. They want to live inside of you. So what I'd like to do is to have us pray together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Carl? Carl? Carl?
I'm not praying to anyone, preacher.
Who are you? Alonzo needs to leave Carl's body. And therefore I say unto you, be with the Lord God, and the devil will flee from you.
The exorcism started to become violent, and Reverend got afraid, and he called us other men into the room to surround Carl.
In the name of Jesus Christ, I command you to leave his body.
He started speaking in Latin, and then he started speaking in English backwards, and it says, I am Satan.
This Bible commands you.
And the spirit said, like a dog growling, I'm Anetos.
Compels you just to listen. Therefore,
At that time, none of us had any idea what that meant, but later on, after the exorcism, the preacher showed us, he wrote that backwards, and it says, I am Satan.
James 4:7 says, submit to God. Carl, can you hear me? Are you all right?
When I woke up, everybody was looking at me, and I was on the floor, and I didn't know what happened.
After the exorcism, Carl decides it is time to move on.
I felt different.
Take it easy now. I wish you the best of luck, Carl. If you ever need anything, you know where to find me.
I felt changed.
Time for me to go. Take care.
I felt like a new human being.
Guess I'll be getting on too.
How about a cup of coffee? Come on.
No, it's okay.
I didn't need that spirits tell me to get out. I got out, and I never went back.
To this day, Bobby Mackey claims he himself has never witnessed paranormal activity at his nightclub.
I don't know if the place got a hold of me or anything unforeseen is holding me here. If that's a supernatural experience, then so be it. And I'm going to stay here.
Beneath the active nightclub, in the bowels of the old slaughterhouse, the well remains. Some say that it is still a gateway, and that an ancient evil hides deep inside